shakalaka. Y'all just missed it. Y'all might get to hear it again in a minute. We got some thunderstorms brewing over here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama today. The football gods have been speaking to me. They're coming down quite profusely. As today, as you can see, I got my crimson colored glasses on in honor of Oklahoma's Crimson and Cream and Nebraska's Big Red, because there's some situations going on with these two programs that are more to it than meets the eye. And before I get into all that, I'd like to ask you guys and gals to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Subscriptions are most important, but liking and sharing is just as well. Pushes that YouTube algorithm. Hit that bell as well next to the subscribe button. That way it lets you know when I'm up and on the air, so y'all can come in here and give me hell, or y'all can give each other hell. Now, getting right to it. Today, for the Common Joe and the Common Sally in the know, even more so than those media talking heads, I have to tell you guys and gals that the Nebraska situation and them being investigated by the NCAA. I hate to keep laughing at the NCAA, but I feel like they've lost a little bit of their teeth. A little bit of a laughing stock. They don't have much to enforce these days, considering that players can actually get paid now, even though the NCAA was getting paid for over 70 years off the backs of these players, millions upon probably billions of dollars. But that's another topic for another day. They don't really have much to enforce, I thought. And so I read the article, I'm like, oh, come on, man. It's the more of this COVID stuff, man. I mean, I'm not trying to trivialize COVID-19. Don't get me wrong. There's been a lot of people that have died from it, but there's been a lot of people that died of tuberculosis and cancer too. So, people need to move on from this COVID-19 stuff. I mean, hiding yourself away in a cave and social distancing and a mask, none of that worked. People still caught COVID. I know plenty of people that abided by all the rules and still got COVID-19. And I never got it. And I hate wearing a mask. But like I said, that's another topic for another day. But even the Arizona State situation with Herm Edwards, they got him on some COVID-19 protocol breaches or not following COVID-19. See? The football gods, they're not happy about it either. It's gotten to the point where you guys are overplaying this stuff, especially liberally hive-minded people. Now, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, so, don't label me as some Bible-thumping Trump supporter or something like that. But if you're a Democrat or a Republican and you act like a dumbass, I'm going to call you a dumbass. And you're acting like a dumbass because these rules weren't even in place. These supposed COVID protocols weren't even in place in 2019, so you're punishing them for rules that they've never been accustomed to having for the last 70 to 80 years. And what's mind-numbing about it is the fact that they're punishing them for something that's they're actually doing something good. They snuck away from campus. Yes, I know that's sort of shady, and they had workouts. They worked out. Woe is me that these players and these coaches are actually working hard. That's such a sin, right? For them to be working hard and trying to be good at their trade under the guidelines that they were under for 70 years. It'd be different if they were out there overworking the players and going past the practice times that have been, the rules that have been put in place for the last 10 or 20 years. That's different. I understand that. But these are COVID guidelines. Now, yes, everybody else had to go by these COVID guidelines, so should Nebraska and Arizona State. But it's not that big of an infraction to me. And I think that you guys come in there and ramrod and overpunish these two programs for something that wasn't even here 2 years ago, that you're just making yourself look like one of those over-the-top cultists. I think maybe Nebraska and Arizona State should be given a slap on the wrist and be told, hey, look, don't do this again. If you do this again and we have some kind of pandemic or this pandemic continues, then we will maybe come in here and hit you a little harder. And I also think that this is convenient that Nebraska comes up with this in the midst of Scott Frost being 12-20 in his third year and going to his fourth year, probably his last year if he doesn't go at least 9-3, in my opinion. So, if he goes 6-6 and he's 12-20, you do the math for him. 18-26. I don't think that's going to keep Scott Frost, but I think these Nebraska boosters and rich alumnus leaked this stuff on purpose. I think it's a inside job on Scott Frost is what I think. And my thing is, if you want to get rid of Scott Frost, just get rid of him. Bone up, own it. Say you made a mistake hiring him just because he was a legacy, just like Alabama did with Mike Shula. We let him stay too long. He stayed 4 years. Jim Harbaugh, same thing at Michigan. He's staying there because he's a legacy. And he's been doing decent. He just can't beat Ohio State. So, bone up and own it, Nebraska boosters. And the Common Joes and the Common Sallies at Nebraska, hold them accountable. Tell them, hey, don't be going around leaking stuff to try to get rid of our coach just because you think you made a mistake. Just fire the guy based upon his record. You don't need anything else. You don't need to trump something up. And that's all I got to say about that. Moving on to the Oklahoma situation. The Oklahoma situation is that 3 wide receivers, 3 have decommitted from what is considered the offensive guru these days, Lincoln Riley. Like, what's going on in Soonerland that these 3 guys will decommit? Is Lincoln Riley losing a step? Is he doing something with his offense that's going to start a downward spiral? No, he's not. And the overreaction to this, it just kills me. It's pretty simple. These 3 players who decommitted from Oklahoma and went to Oklahoma State and SMU, I think, and the other third one, I think he's still taking offers. They basically got here, they committed, they saw how great the Oklahoma program was, and then they realized, hey, there's going to be players coming behind us probably in the 2023 class as well. They're going to be just as good as us or even better and maybe just as good as the guys that's already on campus. And sometimes that intimidates people and they don't want to compete. And I think that's all this boils down to is they want it to be a little bit easier. Not that they don't want to compete, really. That's probably the wrong word. But they want it to be a little bit easier for them to get on the field so they can apply their trade and show the NFL how great they are. And they probably think, being at Oklahoma, they may not get as many opportunities to show their skill set to the NFL. Can't really blame them for that in a way, but it also speaks volumes to Oklahoma and how well Oklahoma has gotten to the point where they're now at the point like Alabama where players are transferring out because there's too much talent. They're hitting the transfer portal or they're decommitting or numerous things. But to get upset and think that something's going on, that maybe Lincoln Riley's losing his touch, yada, 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 that's not happening. It's just that Oklahoma is now at the point where their players on campus and the ones they're recruiting and the ones they're recruiting 2 or 3 years down the road are so good that it actually intimidates some of these other players into decommitting. They commit and then they get thinking about it, get a little intimidated, and they decommit. And that's all there is to it. You guys and gals, drop it in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Tell me whether you think the whole Nebraska thing is a farce perpetrated by the Nebraska boosters. And do you think Oklahoma is having some issues that we don't know about? If they are and I don't know nothing about it, drop it in the comment section. And with that, I'm going to get off of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.